Hey, welcome to On the Chain, Off the Block. We've got a great video, great show for today. I'm here with co-host Chip. You guys know Chip. He's right over here. And with us today, we have Jay, the CEO and founder of a new app that is going to be launching soon called Spend the Bits. This new app is built on the XRP Ledger, using the XRP Ledger to move other digital assets like Bitcoin. And we all know the slowness and the expense of moving a Bitcoin. Well, Jay's company is solving that issue. Hey, Jay, it's great to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's outstanding. So, we're excited about talking about this. We've got our on the chain community. I know everyone that's bouncing in here to be with us here this evening is going to be very excited also. So I think from this point forward, Chip, I think we're ready to get started. Let's hit it.
And now, Off the Block with Jeff and Chip on the chain.
All right, welcome back. So this is awesome. We talk a lot about on this show. We talk a lot about XRP. We talk a lot about the XRP Ledger. We get into when is mainstream adoption of digital assets actually going to happen? And one of the things that Chip and I talk about a lot is that at the end of the day, when people start using a digital blockchain based solution and they're moving money, they're not really going to care so much about what's in the back end. We care from a technical perspective and kind of early investors in the space. We really care about the idea between behind the XRP ledger. We like all the digital asset, but the mainstream user, once they start using an app like Spend the Bits, to them the XRP ledger is not so important. What's important is that when they send money to their friend or they send money to, they're buying something, that it gets there immediately and there's not a lot of cost involved. So Jay, hey, it's great to have you here again with us. And we want to get into this whole deep conversation. A great place to start, if you could just give maybe a little bit of an introduction to yourself, how did you even think about, starting off and building something on the XRP ledger?
Yeah, 100%. So first of all, thank you for having me on this show. Uh, like my name is Jay, and I'm the CEO and the founder of Spend the Bits. I've been working in the IT industry from past 10 years now, mainly involved in the QA automation side and the manual QA side. When the developer finish their work, it's usually come to my bucket, and we do the testing stuff. I've been working in mainly in ministry, finance, and insurance and web portal applications, mostly from the QA point of view. Apart from that, I've been involved in the crypto space from, I think, more than a couple of years now. Last year, like I was doing a lot of trading, and then same thing happened. The withdraw time and the transaction time, it just takes forever. This is where I was looking into solution. I said, okay, let me just see if there is solution that can transfer your Bitcoin with the speed of light, or maybe is a reasonable time. I'm okay with to wait even an hour, but I'm not okay to wait and keep figuring out, okay, it's been 24 hours, where is my money, right?
That's right.
So I start looking into Lightning Network, things it was there, but the foundation was not that strong, and I read a lot of articles about it. And then I was looking into XRPL on the same time, and this is where the value comes in front of us immediately, because not only we was able to move Bitcoin, but we can move any asset, because XRP itself is a bridge asset. So we started last year, in the month of August. We had our first POC, proof of concept, ready by March, and we did a lot of development from the front end and the back end. We had a dedicated team working on the project. My role was mainly to from the requirement perspective and from the testing perspective. We have other team members on the team too. My CTO he's from India, Bangalore. He runs usually a group of developers underneath him. My CEO, he was my junior in school. He's also working in the IT sector too. He usually check out like involved in the release delivery side of it. Apart from that, we was able to accomplish our first milestone with the our MVP product, which is Spend the Bits itself. We are live in Android store. We are still working on the development side of it. There are KYC segment that is being implemented as we speak now. There are a lot of still things that will come in the future releases as well.
Okay.
So, and we are pending release with iOS.
All right.
Gotcha.
So you mentioned, kind of backtracking a little bit, you were trading digital asset. You see this whole thing, but going from being involved in a digital asset to building something on the XRP Ledger is a little bit of a transition. Have
Yeah.
you been involved in startups before, or is this your first
This is
startup?
This is my first startup, and
Okay.
I was I wouldn't have in this place if if we would not have choose the XRP Ledger itself. It's fast, it's cheap, it has a lot of value associated with it, and last year when we started the development, like I mentioned before, I was looking into Lightning Network, but we was started development on a blockchain itself. But it was clear to us we are not solving any problem. We are just we are adding into the queue, right? Because even if I've created a simple wallet on a blockchain, we still have to wait the transaction, because nobody controls the blockchain, right? It's the miner who controls the blockchain, right? This is
Right.
where we took a deep dive into XRP Ledger, and we decided we have to go with the XRP Ledger. Why we did it is freedom to do it, because it's open source, anybody can use it. That's the reason
Nice.
we choose that as well.
Have you had any conversations at all with Ripple? Have you interfaced with anybody at Ripple at all, or anybody?
No.
No. Okay, so you
No.
guys just said, hey, it's open source stuff. We're going to jump in. We're going to start
Yeah.
developing.
Yeah, it wasn't clear initially for me, was the difference between XRP Ledger and the Ripple, the company. But I also see a lot of video from the community itself, like the influencer who do the videos. So that's where some of the confusion that got cleared way, that Ripple is separate entity versus XRP Ledger is separate altogether, and it's open source, anybody can build it.
Yeah, well, most people get that wrong too. I always see when they on an exchange they call it Ripple instead of XRP, the actual, which is actually the actual token, But so I guess one of the big things, for me personally, back when I was sending money back and forth between the UK and here, we were using Bitcoin early days in 2013 just because it was still better than using the alternatives, right? 3 to 5 days to use something like Swift. But had we had access to something like Spend the Bits, if I had the Android app and my colleague had the Android app, he could send the Bitcoin very quickly. So since we both have it set up on our apps, he would basically send it, and roughly in how long, 4 to 10 seconds, I would have it, the Bitcoin, which is impossible to do any other way.
Yes, you are right. And just to correct you, this is not Android to Android. You can send from Android to iOS, as long as both parties have the Spend the Bits app.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
yeah,
Chip's not a big iOS guy, so
yeah, it's okay.
I'm only iOS, so it's
yeah. So a iOS user can send money to Android, and Android user can send money to iOS as
Okay,
well, as
gotcha.
long as they have the same platform, which is
the STB
Spend the
app.
Bits.
Are you
Yes.
planning on doing a PC-based STB also, or browser-based, I should say?
No. Just
No.
our focus is mainly just on the Android and the iOS store.
iOS. Okay. So okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
one
right.
of the
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, say so the other thing too is that because having an XRP wallet, I'm gonna need to set up the base 20 XRP, right? Is that something that the user has to consider?
No. So we have bulk of XRP sitting in our backend. So
Okay.
when user fund their wallet from the fund screen, which is deployed integrated with the Bitcoin mainnet. So our platform recognized okay, there is a person user who has signed up with us, who has funded the wallet. At that time, our system, issue 20 XRP to activate that wallet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So front end user will never see right now XRP. It's all behind the scenes.
Right.
Okay.
As it
And
should be.
that goes to right. That's the technology behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's really interesting. But so as someone gets into using it, you have these mainstream users, and they're having access to it on their phones. They're moving their Bitcoin from their exchange, putting it over onto the STB wallet, and they're holding whatever amount of Bitcoin they want to hold on your wallet. Security is always a big issue.
Yeah.
Right. So how does that work? How are you guys securing the wallet?
So wallet is obviously it's a decentralized wallet. That means the moment user signs up, we issue the secret key. XRP Ledger itself issue the secret key to the user. So it's user due diligence to keep that keys safely with them anywhere they like to, right? And then we don't store that sensitive data at all in our backend. So if you lose your keys, we won't be able to recover it. This is something I've been honest and telling people upfront. Even I'm trying to convey this from our marketing video as well. So this is a huge security aspect for us as well. And your wallet is decentralized. As long as you don't lose your phone and your keys are not compromised, I don't think security being compromised for this
So if
platform.
you lose your phone, but you still have your keys, you have to
Yeah,
have
you
it
can.
backup.
Yes.
You have your
Backup, yeah.
your key, your seed words.
Yeah, you will be able to recover your funds very easily.
Okay.
So those
That's
systems are already in place.
Okay, that's perfect. That's great. And obviously getting access to the app, typical app access, two-step authentication, whatever kind of build-ins you guys will have.
Oh yes. Every time you try to log in, it's gonna ask your biometric authentication, which also we don't store. It's your phone who stores it.
Right.
With using the app, you can also set up PIN if you're not if you haven't set up the biometric authentication. And plus, along with that, you have to validate your phone number with us. And this is where every time you initiate a transaction, you have to verify that transaction. If you anytime you withdraw your funds, you have to verify your transaction as well. So on the withdrawal side, we're gonna put more security checkpoints so that nothing happens, because when you withdraw it, you can bring your funds from XRP Ledger back to the blockchain. So this is but every time you have to validate your 2FA.
Okay, that's interesting. Hey, so let's go back. Let's take a few steps back. You'd mentioned that you were trading in the beginning. What was your kind of initial experience within the digital asset space? If you started looking at some of the digital assets, were you into XRP initially? Was it Bitcoin? Was it Ethereum? What was your experience back then? And then if you kind of fast forward to now, as someone also building in the space, how do you see this development?
So I started doing my trading from Bitcoin itself, and I'm not a technical person at all. I was taking help from the Telegram channel that I was used to follow. So I was doing that trading, and then same issue I was having. Each time, even if I have to buy Bitcoin in Canada, it's not that easy like in US. You can just go in Coinbase app, you hook up your credit card, and there you go, you just press click, and you will be able to buy. Versus for us, if we sign up as a Canadian, if we sign up on Coinbase, there is a limit, $100 or $200. We cannot buy more than that. And I initially has a lot of issues with my credit card company. I used to phone them, hey, my transaction is failing all the time. They said the digital asset, you're not allowed to buy it, right? So this gets me more curious, why can't I buy it, right? So and that's where I started buying not only Bitcoin, XRP. I'm a huge fan of Cardano as well. Anything which has a huge use case, I love those tokens.
It's interesting.
Yeah, privacy also, right? So
yes, privacy also.
Very good. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with those down the line with government, and just I don't know. I have a feeling they're gonna come after anything having to do with privacy. They're gonna be like, oh no,
So government is there, they are there for to help us, not to work against us, right? So this is where, that is the reason I was trying to.
Sure, Jay.
Yeah. Okay, there might be a conflict for us, but for me, I try to work with the regulators.
Right. No, yeah, of
That is
course.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
that
For
is
you
the reason.
guys, yeah. But I'm
Yeah,
just saying, in general, yeah. In general, that's good that you're
yeah.
taking the right steps, right?
In general, the whole point of Bitcoin is to, is to, segregate the people from, from the traditional this money fiat system, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to now. What do you see roadmap wise? Because right now you can you're working on Bitcoin, right? So moving Bitcoin from any place. Now, what that is the next digital asset you have like sort of in mind, or the next couple ones you're going to be adding?
Yeah, yes. So we have already tokenized, Bitcoin on XRP Ledger, and we have also implemented Pay ID as well along with that, right? So the next step for us is to, get the stable build going for the user so they can start using it. And the meantime, our development doesn't stop on the backside. We're gonna first, implement enhance Pay ID, as well. Along with, we are also, started TRISA implementation as well, right? So when that happened, there are additional back end work that needs to be happen. But from a token point of view, 100% will be adding Ethereum, next, and XRP as a payment option. And down the line, if we have to take the fiat on ramp as well, we'll do that as well. But for the time being, we are looking at Ethereum, the token which is widely used, and they have, problem with these kind of high fees and transaction times. Those will
Yeah.
be the, the one which will be built first on our platform.
How are you planning on monetizing? So, we know what's involved with a normal Bitcoin transaction, or let's say the gas fee or any of these other fees, but how are you guys looking at monetizing as far as, because I mean, if somebody hits send, literally within 8 to 10 seconds, they're already there,
Yeah. So
right?
yes. So I can talk about the fees as well. There is a lot of question that I saw on Twitter as well. I wasn't able to answer them because, of the timing issue. Like I'm always occupied. So the fee, this app was, specially created for the everyday use, right? So from the going back to the fees is really tier structured way, right? So from, I think, from $1 to $10 is 2%, from 10 to 25 is 1%, and then from 25 to 10,000 is, I think, 0.50, and then 10,000 to maybe, I think, 50,000 is 0.35. And we have a last point, which is, I think, $500,000 withdraw transaction, is just standard 0.10%. So the higher you go, the less you pay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's actually good. It's like
That's good.
it makes sense, but most people don't do it that way, which is even better for what your
And
use case.
yeah, so I would assume the sender is covering the cost, not the receiver.
Yes, the sender is covering the cost, and
Okay.
yes, it's sender responsibility, to scan the correct QR code, not the, wrong QR code.
Hmm.
And because when you initiate the transaction, keep in mind, this is still, between XRP to XRP. We have not enabled right now. You cannot do a transaction outside of the network right now. But this is something we also, looking into it for the solution, coming in. This is in our roadmap as well for down the line in a year or so.
Okay, yeah, it's something that we had spoken about offline. When you are transacting, you're moving Bitcoin in the back end. There is obviously you're running across the XRP ledger, but XRP is involved in the transaction. You're actually burning XRP with every transaction. Can you explain that a little
100%.
bit?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Every time you initiate a transaction, whether it's a Bitcoin IOU, you are burning, XRP in the, and you will be also, user will also be able to see that transaction, by clicking on the view transaction. It will take you to the, blockchain explorer, where they can see all the nitty-gritty details, along with the, how much fees it burn to, facilitate that transaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll see their costs. They know all the different ramp ups and costs. They'll see that part of it. They
Yeah.
could see the XRP being burned, whatever that number. But basically, from a user's perspective, you put Bitcoin there, back end, there's an XRP wallet, but the user never experiences any of this. They don't have to have XRP as an additional, gas to move anything like Ethereum, right? It just is. It just happens, right?
Yeah.
They put their Bitcoin, they move their Bitcoin. From the user's perspective, that's all that happens. But you have all these amazing things happening, in the background that they're not privy to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like you said, 100% you're right, Jeff. So, when we did also participated in hackathon, which Ripple facilitated for the PID, I think we was late for the submission and stuff, but that's okay. But at that time, not only with that build, not only we was able to tokenize Bitcoin, we was also sending Ethereum and fiat currency to Euro, USD, on the PID. So the front end, when you scan the QR code, you will see the PID. If I know, Jeff is on the spend the bits, all I have to do is just click on make a payment and type Jeff, and the rest, system will app will autofill. You will not be able to see the complicated address. It's all behind the scenes. When you hit, press pay button, your 2FA kicks in, you clear that, after 3-4 seconds, your transaction will reflect in your transaction history, where you can go in and see all the details. And when you click on the view transaction, at that time you can also see your XRP Ledger issue Bitcoin address as well, who was the receiver and who was the sender as well.
Great. Oh, that's nice. That's great.
Out of curiosity, there's something else coming out called the Mercury wallet. And I don't know if you know about those guys, but they're going to be using state chains, something a very similar concept. What's the difference between using a state chain or using with the XRPL? Because what they're claiming is you're going to have low costs and very fast transactions.
So first of all, a competition is always a good, so far, I think we are the only one who is doing this thing. I would like more developers or more common people like me, also to buildings, on in this space. And I have not studied about Mercury wallet as of now, and so won't be able to comment on that.
Gotcha. Yeah, but so their methodology is like a state chain. Do you know about the state chains with BTC?
No.
Okay, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I read a little bit about it, but I'm not exactly sure that. Yeah. I don't know. In theory, because a lot of this reminds me of like the Lightning Network, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I guess there's going to be multiple ways to do it, but I think that I think the real key to what you guys are doing is the fact that it's fast and very inexpensive.
Yeah. Yes. And along with that, my eyes are also on Interledger protocol as well. Yeah. The moment it gets built and finalized, we have 100% plan to build that as well as a part of the payment rails. So that transaction then can travel anywhere, as long as the address is correct. It's gonna hit the point B address. So the point user A initiate the transaction, it's gonna hit user B wallet. It doesn't matter which network he is on. So I'm fascinated by their technology as well. So this is again, I'm looking forward to have that project at the stage where we can use it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so key. I mean, as we look at the growth in the space, it's interesting too. Like you said, you can't be afraid of competition. Competition's inevitable. We all know the XRP Ledger right now. There's relatively limited competition to the XRP Ledger in terms of its full functionality. There's a lot that can happen with the XRP Ledger.
Yes, the moment you will enable interoperability, which you can still do within XRP Ledger, but I would like to see this happening outside of Walled Garden. So this is where the Interledger comes into the picture. Right. So that's where the huge value comes in. Again, you initiate a transaction. It does not have to be on the XRP Ledger. It can be any network. As long as your addresses are correct, I see the transaction should settle and go through.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's nice. Chip, did you have something you wanted to pull up, or?
No, I want to pull something up in a bit, but I was just
okay.
Yeah, I want to pull something up in a little bit, but I was just seeing the basic. So state chain basically, you base what happens. You lock up money between two parties. It's 2 of 2 of a multi-sig between the state chain entity and the user. It's like a multi-sig type of a process, which again I think is going to be It's something you've talked about before, Jeff, about having a multi-signature and having, multi-sign rather, So, but anyway, let's take a look at the website here for a second. If I can go ahead and add this to the stream.
Yeah.
But here it is. So everybody can go to spendthebits.com. Obviously, there's a great explainer video here that shows you how to use it real quick. I'm not going to play that now, but right there, XRP-based, secure, and fast transaction. The white paper, I believe I have that up here, right here, which kind of gives you a good overview of the project. Obviously, you guys are using KYC AML. Are you guys using a third party for that, or are you guys doing that yourselves?
No, we are using third party.
Okay, gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah, it's a lot of work to do that if you weren't gonna.
We can do this, and
No,
there
that's
is
what they- no.
there would be additional implementation from forensic side of it that is also in scope, and we'll be building internally as part of our solution.
Yeah, and right there, I guess right there is like the big thing, reducing payment wait times from 15 to 10 seconds. I mean, well, it's actually even faster than that. I mean, it could be potentially longer.
Yeah, so we are able to accomplish this. The reason I put 10 seconds, because the transaction over 5 million or 10 million, it usually takes around 10 minutes, but usually it doesn't take that much time. XRP Ledger is so fast. The moment you initiate the transaction, your transactions will settle 3 to 5 seconds. But just in case you have a high value, you are doing a transaction which involve a high value payment, for example 10 million, 15 million, is still gonna be clearing in 5 to 10 seconds, which is a huge contrast to current ecosystem.
Right, exactly. Obviously, low percentage fee. There you go. So that's key. And if we look at the difference between Bitcoin, I mean, one of the key things right here, 32 transactions a second versus 1,500, and energy consumption. It's something we talk a lot about in today's world, is that the fact that it's 162 kilowatt per transaction, and almost negligible. Proof of consensus, I like how you put probabilistic versus deterministic. That's nice.
Yeah.
And there's basically the timeline right there. So we're here at phase 2 go live coming up here.
Are you on track for you're on track for phase 2 to go live in December?
Yes, we are on track. It's just there are a lot of additional measurement that we did not take into consideration, because like I said, this is my first time doing it. So we are also implementing those as well as a part of the solution. But this whole white paper, this is something we are also internally looking at it. We are making changes. We have not updated the latest version over here. Maybe in a week or couple of weeks, once we have the finalized version and we get the sign off, we will be updating this timelines over here. Our plan is just not to finish development on 2021. It will have a lot of other things coming from our point of view. For example, I can I can just tell you off the bat, not only we'll be providing these services. On top of that, when we have a good user base, we will also be giving interest in the form of XRP or Bitcoin back to the user as well.
Yeah, interesting.
Nice.
Hey, just a side note before we get into some of the other technical part, but it's interesting. I'm looking at the logo. Actually, I like the logo a lot. I just think it's clean and it's just something nice stamp. How did you guys come up with that logo?
So this is the fourth logo that we finalized. We changed it. We finalized something, and we review internally with our stakeholders and stuff. If somebody says no, this is not something which will work out. Okay, so then there you go. We're back to square one. We started doing again. I think this is the third or fourth logo which we finalized. Actually, for this logo, everybody loves it, and it looks
nice.
so appealing on the back as well. Not only white, it's
Well, it's an S. I see it. Spend the bits. It's cool. You got the S, but it also has the the circular motion too, which you have. So it's nice, man. Whoever did that did a nice job on that.
Yes. And for the phase 3, I can tell you, we was able to accomplish this within phase 1. It just it was on a very high level. We just wanted to see whether we can do it as a part of PID implementation, and as a part of hackathon submission. We did that. We was able to tokenize Ethereum and Litecoin as well. Not only Litecoin, we was able to tokenize fiat too. But in a practical sense, in a production sense, there has to be a lot of integration that needs to be happen. So this is something we are also excited about, to have those places, have those check integrated into our platform.
Okay. Hey, you know what? Something else that you're bringing up here in phase two, I think this leads a lot of relevance. I know right now your platform is Canada only, but I look at this and you're mentioning merchant payment support, crypto to crypto, crypto to fiat, rolling out phase two,
Yeah.
phase three. But this point here with the Bitcoin ATM machines and banking integration, to have easy withdrawal right from the platform back to, if you want to push it back to fiat. I think that's important. Let's talk a little bit about that, and maybe where it becomes really relevant, I think anywhere in the world. But I think it's really interesting because over in India right now, a British entity is actually getting to roll out multiple locations over in India for crypto bank branches. And you start seeing this kind of we're starting to cross over this line, where we're starting to see, banks blend in, to these crypto exchanges. This is, a side note completely on the conversation. I always look at it that crypto exchanges might come into banking before banks come into crypto exchanges. And that's one of the things we're seeing rolling out in India. Bring some of your experience and knowledge and relate it, because I know right now you're rolling out in Canada, but are you looking at some other potential markets like India, which could be a massive market for something like this? Also considering what this British entity is getting ready to do with all these crypto branches.
Yes. So yeah. So we are looking for the expansion, but it won't be us who will be expanding as a. So what we are trying to accomplish here, to empower people who people who wants to enter this space, or the existing player who wants to take advantage of our solution. Hence, we are making our platform as a white label solution. So we will be, whoever the interested party, once we have everything in place, not right now, maybe in 2021, this is where I'm seeing our expansion. We'll try to expand to US, India, whole Asia, with the help of white label solution. And from India point of view, having Narendra Modi, sign on the gift. Have you heard about that? It's a huge accomplishment itself. They are looking into the digital asset. They have give the green light, for some of the banks to with a limited number of users to do a dry run for this, which is a huge
Yeah.
news
It's good news.
itself.
Yeah.
It's a big win over there. I find it amazing, because India, there's such a contrast over there between the unbanked or the poverty line, middle class and wealthy. So one of the things, I spent a lot of time working over in India, and I always look at this, bottom tier. It's about 700 million people, under the poverty line, but then you've got like 500, million people broken up between middle class and upper middle class and extremely wealthy, banked, unbanked. But I see there's a huge amount of intellectual capital and just brain power, coming out even in that poverty area, where there's just so much potential, and if you could put some financial tools into people's hands, what can be accomplished over in India is just unbelievable. And I think India is kind of, very cutting edge with how we're starting to see, growth in infrastructure development, trying to reach out into the communities to start pulling people up into being more included in the economy versus excluded from the economy. Platforms like this, in my opinion, I think are definitely that stepping stone. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I 100% agree with you. So let's put it this way. I 100% agree with you. There are tremendous amount of population which is unbanked right now. if not our solution, maybe some other solution, but this needs to happen, as soon as possible, because you can't have a economy growing where like some of the percentage is unbanked, right? So this is something which this government has to take into consideration, and then give some people the power of moving the money, not only effective but also cost effective as well on the same time. And this is where something I can see XRP Ledger playing a huge role, as a form of RippleNet, or or a third party app like us.
Yeah, yeah, and that's great, and I think also, a little bit of feedback, this turmoil that's been going on over in India over the past couple years, where they were shutting down digital asset exchanges, to now where it's starting to open up again. Where do you think it goes from here at this point?
So I would say there is a lot of things that is happening in the at the parliament level. There is a bill rolled out. We don't know for sure what that bill is, but I think it's looking promising, and I think they will appreciate the digital asset. And going forward, since they have given the green light for for some banks to to start custodying, or providing digital asset services, which is a huge win itself.
Yeah, yep, I agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Chip.
Well, I'll just say another question too is, are you guys self-funded? Are you guys looking to raise money?
Yes, so we have strapped this
Yeah,
project. Right now, we are at a point where we cannot accomplish all that thing with our income, because we apart from this project, I also work full time as well, right?
gotcha.
So this is where we are looking into to raise money to get through this monthly burnout, and obviously the future development as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to add this back here too. Just talk a little bit about this. So, and you put all the major things on here. Obviously, the instant spend, low cost, instant withdrawal. Now, right here, I see this is basically the screen when you come into the app. Right, you go ahead and set yourself a user, a username and a password. When you log into the account, go ahead and create your account.
Yeah.
Right.
So first you have to, if you go up, I can explain that as
Yeah.
well. So so right under the login, forgot, there is a create account. This is where you have to click on the create account. You have to fill in all your information. Yes. From here, and after this, you have to follow the prompt on the screen, because this is where the app will ask you to insert your valid email ID, because your email need to be verified. After that, you have to verify your phone number. Then we issue the secret key. So all that steps are really important, and after once we issue that, you will be asked to either to set up pin code, or to authenticate yourself using biometric authentication on the device. The moment you log into the app, there is a user journey that will kick in, that will tell you at what button, and what functionality it is delivering, and how to navigate inside the app. We are trying to implement more how to session in the app, so that if the user needs help, hey, I'm at the receive payment QR screen, what type of fund I can move in this, right? So all that stuff, we are also working on the back side of, we're creating some of the how to videos to educate the user as well, and bring the awareness to the user.
Yeah, I want to join the party, by the way. Haven't joined the party yet? I like that. That's fun. It's clever. And then there you go. So obviously the team. Wait, you guys don't have your pictures there? Come on, man.
Yeah, so like I mentioned to Jeff earlier
Said
as
that
well,
yesterday.
We will be updating this picture.
It's early, I understand.
Yeah,
I know we
yeah.
got to you very early. I mean,
Yes, you got me really, really early, and I wasn't expecting at all.
no, but that's fine. I mean, I
Yeah,
already sent you a LinkedIn invite,
yeah.
so
Cool,
we're
cool.
good. So
Yeah.
so know who it is. That's pretty cool. So I mean, it's pretty exciting having something like this, especially built on the XRPL. I mean, we've talked about that. By the way, the state change, found out a little bit more information on it. It's basically you're setting the private key. So I don't know, if I had to choose between the two, I would go with this methodology, because one of the key things is you retain the private key. The other one's like a double, a SIG, multi-sig type of a scenario. But I don't know. There seems to be a lot of we've brainstormed this before, Jeff and I, saying, well, you could potentially do it where you could send the key and private key, and that's exactly what it does. But to me, this right here, you scan, you hit send, boom, you're there. Or you send somebody the address, boom, you hit send, you're there. There's not really no. It's that fast, and the cost is pretty low as well. So I still think this is.
Yeah, as a part of our PID implementation, not only we was able to accomplish the Bitcoin, so and we was also like I mentioned before, we are also able to tokenize Ethereum. So having said that, so let's say Jeff has a Spend the Bits app, and we support, let's assume we support Ethereum, Litecoin, and fiat currency, or anything like to do with the asset which has a value, right, on our app, and we facilitate that and we support that asset, right? So now let's say Jeff has to send me a money, right? Jeff only knows my PID, right? Let's say J at the $spendthebits.com. Whatever asset Jeff will send, our platform will auto recognize that asset. So let's say Jeff want to Jeff owe me $100, so but he wants to send me in Ethereum or fiat, which I don't know what he is sending, right? So our platform itself can detect, okay, the incoming asset type is this currency, and it automatically settle the correspondent wallet according to the asset type.
That's huge. Yeah,
And does the receiver have an option? So let's say through that, you're using the PID, is that then selectable through your app? Is, let's say I want everything in US dollars.
Yeah.
But you're sending Bitcoin, and I don't want Bitcoin. Are you able to do that, or is that something? Yeah.
Going forward, you will be able to do it. This is something is also our part of the solution, where user have the full freedom. Let's say if the counterpart, if he owes some money to the other person or a counterparty, right? But the other party wants to accept that money in the form of fiat. User A will be able to use it within the app. So even though he will have Bitcoin, he will be able to swap into the fiat, which will be able to display inside the app, and from there he can dictate whether the user B should get the Bitcoin or the fiat currency.
Nice.
Yeah. That's so nice. The moment they will choice, they will insert that value, hit pay. The counterparty will get that money in the form of whatever he dictate from the front end.
Right, and that's the power again of you're using the PayID, but using the XRP Ledger.
Yeah, that's the power of XRP Ledger.
Yes,
that's the power of XRP Ledger itself, because it's interoperable itself. All the asset on the XRP Ledger, they are interoperable. So
well, the PayID makes it a little bit even simpler, right? Because when they rolled out PayID, and I saw all the people that were participating in that, like they really had a pretty good coalition of different people, and it's really, to me, we've talked about it here. I wasn't really that happy that they chose the $sign. I thought they could have chose a more ubiquitous sort of a symbol. I think it kind of is counterproductive to the whole thing, but I get it. It's like, we have the @ symbol. They could have chose something else that was, because the $sign represents like US fiat, you know what I mean? And it seems to me, but anyway, I mean, the process is there. That's the cool thing with the PayID. So it's neat when they rolled out PayID, did you guys look at that and say, okay, that's another thing that we could really utilize and as an advantage part of the app?
Oh yeah, we actually, when PayID got rolled out, we loved it, because not only you don't have to remember your address. You can just tell, okay, this is my PayID, just send me the money, right? And like I said before, our app can determine, our platform can find out what type of asset is what type of incoming asset is, right? So, and it can settle the wallet accordingly.
That's
so it simplifies so many things, from the addresses to the type of asset.
That's really nice. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It's it's always phenomenal to talk to somebody who's actually building something that really kind of deals with like solves a real problem out there. But it's funny because when you mentioned earlier, Jay, about XRP really being a bridge currency, that's really, you're really utilizing the functionality of what it's for, right? Yes. Incorporating the PayID, having somebody, because the whole idea of sending Bitcoin, I think most people's frustration, I've been there before, you send it, you don't have it, And especially if there's a lot of stuff going on the network, you can have congestion, right? Because of the fact that they don't have the amount of transactions per second that really, I mean, Satoshi, I guess, who made the original white paper, probably didn't think about how popular it could potentially be, right? I mean, it's not like we can really, anybody can actually change that, where you might be able to see some positives. Where do you see yourself going? Obviously you'll be able to secure some funding and financing and growing your team. Where do you see yourself going in like the next 2 to 5 years? How do you see the app evolving?
So from 2 to 3, 5 years, first we were after the funding happens, we're gonna keep building new stuff for the community, because I am part of the community, as well. If you can see, this is not a corporate project. This is just a average Joe who got access to this kind of fascinated technology and is building on top of it, right? So we're gonna keep on building, a lot of exciting stuff on top of it, and hopefully we'll be able to empower other people in the other player in the community too.
That's great, man.
Yeah,
it's good to hear. Yeah, it's a cool thing. I mean, anybody who's building on this, but you said something that you're just an average Joe, but there's a lot of average Joes out there that thought about something, but you took action. You took action and said, hey man, I don't want to have to deal with this annoying time frame, and then not to deal with the cost. So I applaud you. Jeff and I both applaud you for going out there and becoming a builder. Building something and solving a real problem. That's out there.
Yeah, and we have just started. There is no plan of stopping. We have just started. Building on this space. I see lot of potential as well. With this kind of technology, and we're gonna keep on building. From here point.
Yeah, man, keep going. It's good stuff. It's amazing you were able to bootstrap this. I mean, I give you guys a lot of credit for getting this far.
Everyone has the idea. It's not something I am the special one who has idea. It's the most the special thing about the idea is how do you execute that idea. Correct. How do you make that idea into a practical sense. So this is where I think because of my IT experience, I was able to draw down the technical aspect and correlate them with the business aspect side of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, everything's a good idea until somebody has to do something.
Yes.
It's like, I got a great idea. What do I do? Oh, I don't know. Everybody this is what happens with you see in companies and corporations. Everyone's like, hey, I have an idea. What if we do that? And everyone's like, that's a good idea, but nobody really wants to do it. Somebody has to pick up the ball and run with it, right?
Yeah. This goes back to your original question. Why XRP is not part of this app right now, because XRP itself is a solution. It's not a problem. Right. Problem is problem lies with Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they are slow. With the help of XRP Ledger, hopefully we can scale this.
Yes.
Yeah,
so without a doubt you can scale it, no doubt.
Yeah.
Right. So outstanding. I mean, this is great. It's really I enjoyed reviewing your platform on the other video. Awesome to have you on with us here, to talk more in depth about it. Looking forward to seeing all the progress that you're going to be making in this space. Any last feedback, comments that you have for us?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for doing the review, and to the community, we hear you, we saw all the comments on the Twitter, and thank you for following us. Keep supporting us. We will be, not only will be fixing our white paper, we'll be, rolling out so many, cool feature as well with this app, and keep supporting us.
Awesome.
Yeah, well done.
Outstanding. Chip?
All right, Jay. Yeah, I just want to say, thank you for coming on here, man. Thank you for jumping in the hot seat, answering all the questions. I mean, you really did a great job of addressing everything. And I mean, since Jeff pointed this app out, I mean, I think it was one of our users, Jeff. It was somebody in our community one of our followers that said, who was it?
Check it out.
Yeah, and said, hey, you got to check out this app. You got to check it out. And then that's when Jeff, because a lot of times people want us to review, and Jeff's really the guy that kind of tears stuff apart. Yeah. So it's kind of cool that somebody said, hey, this is pretty cool. Take a look at this. And so we did. So I want to thank everybody here tonight. Thank you for coming in here, learning more about Jay and Spend the Bits. Again, you can visit spendthebits.com to learn more about it and download the apps and all that stuff. Also, you can click on the links below to do the same thing. So that's all I wanted to do is say, everybody, thank you for coming in. Thank you for your comments. Jeff? And oh yeah, stick around, Jay, for a little bit after, once we get it out of here. So
yeah, I just want to say I appreciate everybody being here with us tonight. As you guys are on the roundtable, you're here with us on the chain on this off the block segment, talking to CEO of Spend the Bits. Again, Jay, thanks for being here, and
we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.